Hi, my name's Mike with Turbo Marketing, and today we're going to talk about automotive conquest sales, or in other words, selling vehicles to people who are not yet your customers, who are not in your database, and who have not yet experienced your awesome sales or service department. I know that some dealers often associate conquest with direct mail, which is one method of conquesting. But for the sake of today's conversation, I won't be using the word conquest as a direct mail strategy, but rather to identify the target which we're after, which are new customers. Now, when talking about successful conquesting or selling to people outside of your database, there are two target audiences that have some potential for immediate sales, and these two audiences are at opposite ends of the shopping cycle. The first one is comprised of people who are not yet in the market for a vehicle, and the second one is comprised of people who are just about to purchase a vehicle, but who are not considering your brand or models. Notice that I voluntarily left out prospects who are mid-cycle and quietly researching their next vehicle purchase. These people are still slowly educating themselves and looking for information to substantiate the decision they'll have to make in the near future. Having a good content marketing strategy will be extremely efficient with this crowd, but in my experience, it's very difficult to precipitate their buying decision. If you're looking to put deals on the board this month, I'd focus on both extremities first. Now, if you've read our blogs, watched our videos, listened to our podcast, or went through Sean Casey's Automotive Conquest Marketing Masterclass, you probably already know that our preferred prospects here at Turbo Marketing are non-intenders, or the 91% of the population not on the market for a vehicle. These are the easiest target for immediate increase in your sales. If you haven't seen these training tools, I suggest you get your hands on these first. But in today's video, we're going to focus on the second group and the reason I feel compelled to discuss how to maximize your results and efforts from prospects who are about to purchase but haven't considered your brand is because most dealers we talk to see that group of prospects as an easy, low-hanging fruit. The reason is because these prospects are just about to purchase a vehicle. They should be much easier to steer into a deal for their dealership. As a marketing company helping car dealers sell more vehicles, you'd think that the conquest conversation would be an easy one, right? Well, wrong. Although it's at the top of the list of priorities of every dealer and automotive marketing team that I talk to, it's probably the hardest conversation to have and the one we dread the most. Now, here's why. Most dealers don't want to hear the truth about conquest, which forces us to tippy-toe around the truth, not to ruffle some feathers. But today we decided to completely come out unrestrained with the ugly truth nobody wants to hear and say it without beating around the bush. I have to admit I'm a little scared, but please suspend your judgment and hear me out before throwing tomatoes at me. Here's the truth about conquest. If you want to be successful at selling cars to people ready to buy, you have to acknowledge that the true conquest vehicle shopper at the end of the shopping cycle doesn't care about the brand and models you sell. Ouch. I know it hurts a little, but it's the truth. Conquest vehicle shoppers just don't care about the vehicles you sell. If they did, they'd already be in your marketing pipeline. Now, this truth has nothing to do with the quality of your vehicles, your service, the reputation of your dealership in the area, or how involved you and your team are in the community. Actually, it has nothing to do with you, your dealership, or your product. You simply didn't make it on the prospect's radar because the prospect was blind and deaf to your brand. Maybe the prospect's family has been biased to a competing manufacturer for generations. Maybe the prospect is prejudiced against your brand because of some hearsay or somebody else's bad experience. Maybe they've zoomed in on a segment of vehicles for which your brand doesn't have a model. Maybe they're following the advice of a third-party automotive journalist who favors a particular model outside of your roster. The reasons are plenty, and with prospects heavily researching their next purchase online, we have less and less of a say as to where the cards ultimately fall in their mind. If your prospects are honing in on a particular make and model, your chances of making them deviate from their decision at the last minute in favor of your dealership by heavily advertising your manufacturer's incentives for a few days are close to none. So, what's the secret to conquest success with prospects who are just about to purchase a vehicle? Follow Robert Collier's advice. Always enter the conversation already taking place in the customer's mind. So what does this mean, you might ask? Well, let's start with what it doesn't mean. If prospects are not thinking about your brand, talking about your incentives, and your models are not entering the conversation currently taking place in their mind. Does this mean you should talk about your competitors' brand and models? I don't believe so. So what is the conversation going on in the prospect's mind during the last days before buying the vehicle they've been researching? I believe the conversation in their mind revolves around the same 5 questions that are keeping non-intenders out of the market, which are price, payment, cash, credit, and trade, but with a focus on the specific model they want to buy or lease. The conversation in their mind might go something like this. Number 1, is it the best time for me to get the best price on the year, make, model that I want? Number 2, will the payment on the year, make, model I want fit into my budget? Number 3, do I have all the cash that will be required for me to get the year, make, and model that I want? And number 4, will I be approved with my credit for the year, make, and model I want? And number 5, will I get enough for my trade? If you notice, the first 4 statements are all about the year, make, model they want, and that's not a model you sell, so there's little you can do about answering these questions. You could say you have lower prices, smaller payments, no cash down required, and easy approval on your models, but they don't care about your models, remember? I know it hurts, and it's still hard to admit, right? But focus on the final statement, the 5th one. Will I get enough for my trade? This question, part of the conversation currently in the prospect's mind, leaves the door open for your dealership to provide an answer. You could say something like this. I don't care if you decided to buy your vehicle from another dealer. We have a thriving used car operation here, and the technology that we use will maximize how much you'll get for your trade. I want to buy your vehicle from you that you're driving right now, even if you don't buy your next vehicle from us. If you can create some exciting marketing and communicate this message with class, truly respecting the decision the prospect has made about his next purchase, you'll start talking to people you would have never talked to before. All you have to do at this point is create within your dealership a process where you can handle these requests while creating for the prospect a memorable experience. Your goal will be to provide such an amazing experience for the prospect that your team will earn the privilege of showing the model from your roster that competes with whatever the prospect originally had in mind, and now you're conquesting. Now, just to make sure, the 5-foot-long trade appraisal form that usually comes by default with no copy and headline on most dealers' website would not fall under the exciting marketing label I was mentioning before. If you'd like to see some examples of some exciting ways we found here at Turbo Marketing to enter the conversation already taking place in the prospect's mind to help you position your dealership as the trade appraisal center for all vehicle shoppers in your area, visit the campaign section of our website. I guarantee it will get your automotive marketing creative juices going.